Dolly the sheep at one point or another. The reason for this is she is the first successful mammal clone to have been made. Now, she's not the only clone, and there's been lots of other ones since then. There's lots of reasons for this. They're all scientific reasons, and cloning is a good and ethical thing to do, even though lots of people say otherwise. Now, obviously, I'm not a scientist or a clone. I just find it interesting. And today I'll be covering the problem with cloning, which is just that people just don't understand what it is and the reasons behind it and what can happen. And the solution to that problem, which is just to state the facts and tell it straight out for everyone who doesn't understand it, and the benefits, which are just all scientific, and to further the scientific discoveries in the medical and agricultural fields. So people say that cloning is unethical or shouldn't be allowed, but it's just that they don't understand what it is and the reasons and what can happen. A lot of people think that clones produce an exact copy of that parent, which isn't true. They think that they have the same appearance, the same personality. Some people even think that they're born the same age as the parent, so they live less, but that just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And a lot of people also think that there hasn't really been any clones since Dolly, since she's the main one people think of. But clones actually occur naturally, which I'll get to later. We just don't think of them as clones. Some people also think that clones are just created for fun, for scientists to show off what they can do, to spend lots of money. But there's real reasons like to find different medicines or how to improve agriculture, things like that. So a simple way to fix the misconceptions with cloning is just to tell the truth straight out and to not let people think otherwise. Make it really simple. The people tend to think clearer about something if it's said simple and they can understand it better. At least that's how it is for me. So according to the cloning fact sheet from the National Human Genome Research Institute, Dolly was made when an udder cell from one sheep was fused with an egg of another sheep and then grown in a third sheep. Now obviously she isn't going to be an exact clone of any one of those three sheep. She's going to have a little bit of each of them in her, even though she's said to be an exact clone of that first one who gave the udder cell. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration says that cloning also happens naturally, but we just don't recognize it as cloning because it's common and isn't made in a science lab. Some type of bacteria are a type of clone because they reproduce asexually, which means that the parent organism splits in half and has the same DNA as the daughter organism, so they're identical. Some people might also say that identical twins are clones because they're made when an egg cell splits in half to make two embryos, two babies, and those have the same DNA, even though if you know an identical twin, they obviously don't have the same personality. They're not the same person. Same thing for animal clones. And cloning isn't just for scientists to show off what they can do and to spend the government or taxpayers' money. It's to find solutions to medical problems or agricultural problems. Although there are some cons to cloning, there are also lots of good reasons to continue it, even if they're not what people might think of as the good reason, all of them. So according to another cloning fact sheet, but this one's from the Dairy Management Incorporation and National Milk Producers Federation, farmers could use cloning to improve their herd, their livestock, which will then improve the genetics of that offspring and keep that line of that good animal in the farm for longer. And you can use those animals to improve the product that you're giving, the milk or the meat or the hide or whatever it is that the farmer's producing from the animal. Most people use one of those things in some way or another, the milk or the meat, or they wear the clothes from the hide. There's also lots of medical benefits to cloning, which clones have been used to study diabetes, which is becoming a more common disease, especially in America, that isn't look like it's slowing down. They're also used to produce clones of pigs to determine if pigs can produce organs that are okay for humans to use, to transplant into the humans and see if they'll take and help the human be healthy again. In Dolly's instance, again, her milk was found to be good to help prevent blood clots in humans, which is also becoming another common problem, especially in the older generations. There's another rarer, kind of weirder reason for cloning. It's not very common because it's more expensive and lots of people don't like the idea of it, but it's to clone pets. Some people, their pet dies and they just love it so much that they want to keep it around forever, so they have clones made of it. An example of this would be Barbra Streisand. She's an actress and singer, and her dog Sammy died, and she just loved this dog so much and missed it so much that she wanted clones made of it. Instead of getting one clone though, she got 4. She gave 2 of them to her friends or co-workers and kept the other 2 for herself, so she could always have Sammy with her in this way. Anyway, since people who are against cloning usually just don't understand it, we need to voice our support for it and say the facts straight out and make it simple for them to understand. And in order to do that, we just need to just tell them how it is instead of giving them room to guess, because there's good things that can happen from cloning that will affect everyone in some way or another.